Mr. President, preserving the full faith and credit of the United States is one of the most important responsibilities that members of Congress face. It requires cooperation, bipartisanship, and leaders who can instill confidence and calm to the markets and working families alike. But I cannot think of a worse message to send to the world than for Speaker McCarthy to travel all the way to New York, look Wall Street in the eye, and threaten that the U.S. will default on its debt unless Republicans get spending cuts first. Why the Speaker traveled all the way to New York to give a speech that offered nothing new in substance or concept, but the same dangerous message, different than what we've done in the past, is beyond me. If Speaker McCarthy continues in this direction, the U.S. is likely headed towards default. But you know what will avoid default, Mr. President? Republicans working with Democrats to avoid this crisis altogether, just as we did under Donald Trump. Now, the Speaker has insisted for months on cuts, though he has failed to offer any clarity about what kind of cuts Republicans want. House GOP leadership is presenting their wish list to their members at a closed meeting this morning. No one should confuse this wish list as anything more than a recycling of the same bad ideas we've heard about for weeks. And it's still not clear that Speaker McCarthy has the votes to even pass this. Indeed, a handful of House GOP members insist they won't raise the debt ceiling for anything, not even a GOP wish list. One of the few specific items is the Speaker's laughable suggestion, and it is laughable, that we avoid default for only a year, ensuring that this dangerous crisis repeats itself in 12 months. Why the Speaker thinks anyone would agree to have another debt ceiling crisis next year is beyond me. Nobody is saying that there cannot be a conversation about what kind of cuts Republicans want, but it doesn't belong in this debate, plain and simple. It belongs in discussions over the budget that Congress has every year, and not as a precondition to avoiding default. So let me make this easy for my Republican colleagues. Don't bother with partisan wish lists and unrealistic proposals that will never solve this debt default crisis. Instead, avoid default using the same approach we did under President Trump twice and under President Biden once. Democrats and Republicans working together with...
Hello, friends. I have breaking news to share with you this Thursday. The White House is now warning that debt ceiling breach could wipe out 8 million jobs across the United States. President Biden is being urged to take executive action to prevent this humongous crisis. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy and many other GOP lawmakers are expected to make concessions in order to reach a deal. Dear friends, please make sure that you watch until the end of this video. Also, tomorrow, to say thank you for being part of this community, I will be announcing several winners for the $75 Walmart gift card giveaway. If you'd like to enter these weekly giveaway, friends, simply click and like several of my videos and then comment below the keyword of each video that you watch. My friends, the more videos that you watch and then comment on, the greater your chances of winning the weekly giveaways. White House economists said in a new analysis that was just released today that an extended breach of the nation's borrowing limit could wipe out more than 8 million jobs and cause severe economic damage as lawmakers run out of time to resolve the fiscal impasse. In the report, the White House Council of Economic Advisors compared the potential economic impact of a debt ceiling breach to the 2008 Great Recession, in which economic growth contracts sharply and unemployment surges. The nightmare scenario of a protracted standoff over the debt limit would lead to a 6% contraction in the size of the economy, comparable to the shock of the 2008 recession. The report also found that the stock market would fall by an estimated 45%. The Council of Economic Advisors warned that less dramatic failures around the debt limit may cost hundreds of thousands of U.S. jobs. The White House Council of Economic Advisors stated there was a broad consensus amongst economists that such an event would generate an entirely avoidable economic catastrophe. The economy would quickly shift into reverse, with the debt of the losses a function of how long the breach lasted. The new warnings comes days ahead of President Biden's meeting with congressional leaders regarding the debt limit and government spending. While acknowledging the United States cannot default, Speaker Kevin McCarthy has been adamant that House Republicans will not increase the federal government's borrowing limit unless Biden agrees to trillions of dollars in spending cuts, a position the administration has rejected. The meeting on Monday is expected to kickstart negotiations between the House Speaker and President Biden. But Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen has warned that lawmakers have only till June 1st before the United States runs out of money to meet all its payment obligations. Congress approves the maximum amount the U.S. Treasury Department can borrow under the law, but federal spending outstrips the amount collected in tax revenue, requiring lawmakers to periodically raise the borrowing limit. In the new report, the White House economists lay out the potentially devastating economic consequences of failing to act quickly. If the United States fails to make its payment obligations, interest rates could spike as investors demand a higher premium on purchases of government debt. Higher interest rates would ripple throughout the economy, making mortgages, credit cards, car loans, and many other purchases more expensive for millions of Americans. Retirement accounts, consumer and business confidence, and consumption would all take a great hit. Because the United States is widely trusted to repay its debt obligations, the federal government can borrow at relatively cheap rates. But that could change if the debt ceiling is breached. The White House report cites an analysis by the Brookings Institution that federal borrowing costs could surge by $750 billion over the next decade if the limit is breached. The report also states unemployment increases 5 percentage points as consumers cut consumption and businesses lay off workers. Unlike the Great Recession and the recession, the government is unable to help consumers and businesses. The White House analysis also cautions that getting too close to the debt limit could itself harm the U.S. economy. Even breaching the debt limit for 1 week may cost 500,000 jobs. Brinkmanship on the debt limit could cost 200,000. According to many experts, the Biden administration must be prepared to take unilateral action to avert a debt default, which would have economic consequences both in the United States and abroad. The White House has several options. For one thing, Biden could simply declare the debt limit unconstitutional under the 14th Amendment. Some legal scholars therefore believe that it is not constitutional for Congress to prevent the federal government from paying its debts. Alternatively, the Treasury Department could use its statutory authority to print platinum coins in any denomination to mint a $1 trillion coin, and then use it to repurchase government debt held at the Federal Reserve. So, dearest friends, how do you think our government should handle the debt ceiling? Please let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Well, my most beautiful and amazing friends, that is the end of my daily stimulus update video for today. Thank you, dear friends, for being part of this community and for being here every single day. To say thank you and to show my appreciation, I will be announcing more winners tomorrow for the Walmart gift card giveaway. If you'd like to enter these weekly giveaway, friends, all you have to do is click and like several of my videos and then comment below the keyword of each video that you watch. The more videos that you watch and then comment on, the greater your chances, my friends, of winning these giveaways. Thank you and have a wonderful and very blessed Thursday.